Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to draw Santa Claus in Adobe Illustrator. I'll create the illustration step by step in a clear and slowed down way, so every detail is easy to follow and understand. Make sure you watch the video until the end so you don't miss any important parts of the process. Before we get started, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon and here on YouTube. This channel exists and continues to grow because of your support, and I truly appreciate every single one of you. I first created a rough sketch of Santa Claus in Photoshop. This sketch is not meant to be perfect. It's only there to help define the main shapes, positions, and overall composition. Doing this makes it much easier to get a cleaner and more balanced result when turning it into a vector. You can do the same by making a quick rough sketch in Photoshop or even on paper. Using a simple sketch as a guide while drawing your vector will help you achieve a much better final result. After importing the sketch we made in Photoshop or on paper into Adobe Illustrator, the first thing I do is lower its opacity. I reduce it just enough so it's still visible, but not distracting. Then I lock that layer so it doesn't get in the way while drawing. If the sketch layer isn't locked, your mouse can accidentally select it, and that can really interrupt the drawing process. Locking the layer helps keep everything smooth and focused. On top of that, I create a new layer, and on this layer I draw only the outline of the vector. I choose an outline color and stroke thickness that feels right for my style, and then I use the pencil tool to draw the main contour lines of the vector. Next, I use the ellipse tool to draw the outline of the eye. To remove the extra parts, I focus on the areas where the ellipse intersects with the outline underneath. At those intersection points, I add anchor points using the pen tool. After that, I select the unnecessary anchor points with the direct selection tool and delete them. This way, I can cleanly shape the eye outline and make it fit perfectly into the rest of the vector. Then, I continue drawing the outline of the vector using the pencil tool, following the sketch underneath as my guide. I honestly believe there aren't many videos on YouTube that show such a detailed, fully hand-drawn vector process like this. Because of that, if you find this effort helpful, please don't forget to like the video and leave a comment to support the work. And if there's any part that feels unclear to you, don't hesitate to pause the video, note the exact moment, and ask your question in the comments. I'll do my best to explain every single detail and help you understand the process as clearly as possible. To create the second eye, I first select all the details of the eye we've already drawn. Then from the top menu, I go to Object and choose Group to combine all those parts into a single group. Once everything is grouped, I copy it from the Edit menu to create a duplicate. After that, I place the second copy into the correct position, aligning it with the sketch underneath as a guide. And then we simply continue drawing using the pencil tool. Because my hand is already used to it, I'm doing all of this comfortably with a Logitech mouse. However, for more professional and advanced work, graphic tablets are definitely very important and can make the process even smoother. I'll be tagging all the equipment I use in this video one by one, including my keyboard, mouse, graphic tablet, and other gadgets. If any of them catch your interest, you're more than welcome to check them out and use them in your own workflow. After drawing one of Santa's eyebrows, there's a very important detail you shouldn't miss. To duplicate the eyebrow correctly, I go to the Object menu, then choose Transform, and flip the eyebrow to the opposite side. Instead of copying it manually, I click the Copy button in the Transform options. This way, Illustrator automatically creates a perfectly mirrored eyebrow without any extra steps. By doing this, I get a second eyebrow that's already flipped and positioned correctly, exactly the way I need it for the illustration. When drawing with the pencil tool, for example while creating Santa's mustache, there's an important technique to keep in mind. To create sharp points, I draw the line and pause at the exact spot where I want the sharp edge, then I release the left mouse button. When I move in the opposite direction and need a sharp tip, I click again on that point and continue drawing in the opposite direction. If I want a smooth, rounded, or oval turn instead, I simply keep holding the left mouse button and continue the stroke without releasing it until the end. In Illustrator, these hand-drawn lines don't always come out perfectly clean on the first try. When that happens, I use the Direct Selection tool or the Curvature tool to select specific anchor points and adjust them until the shape looks exactly the way I want. If you'd like to get this vector, you can find the download link in the description and purchase it directly there. For my Patreon supporters, this vector is completely free. You can visit the Patreon shop, download it at no cost, and use it in your projects. By joining Patreon through the link in the description and choosing any monthly plan that fits your budget, you'll be able to download all the project files from my new videos, access premium vector, icon, and illustration packs, and enjoy exclusive content made only for supporters. Supporting me with any plan that suits you is more than enough. I spend a lot of time creating these videos, and with each new one, I try to improve and make them even more useful for you. Thanks to your support on Patreon, we can make this process faster, better, and higher in quality. Thank you to everyone who supports and believes in this work. I truly appreciate you all. If you'd like to get the sketch file I used, just let me know in the comments and I'll send it to you for free. You can easily draw your own vector on top of this sketch and use it to practice and improve your skills. And please don't think that you can't do this. When I first started this channel, I didn't even know what Illustrator was or what it was used for. Over time, by repeating the same things again and again, I slowly learned. If you go back and watch my very first videos, you'll see how amateur and inexperienced my work was back then. But if I had given up halfway, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing today. Believe in yourself if you want to learn. Keep practicing, keep repeating, and never hesitate to ask questions. I'm looking forward to reading your comments, and I can't wait to reply and help you. I truly believe that anyone who really wants to learn can create even better vectors than this. I hope you carefully watched how I created the sharp points on Santa's hat and beard using the method I mentioned earlier. At each peak point, I release the left mouse button, then start again from the same point to draw the next line. Doing it this way allows me to control the direction and shape of the line exactly the way I want. After I finish all the outline strokes on the top layer, I create a new layer underneath and start adding the inner colors there. I do this because it makes it much easier for me to add shadows and highlights later on. Of course, you can also use a different approach. You can connect the start and end points of all the outlines, create closed shapes, and fill them with color directly. That method works perfectly too, especially if you want a clean, flat vector, and you can still add shadows on top of it afterward. For some reason though, this layered approach feels more comfortable for me. If you'd like, let me know in the comments. In one of the next videos, I can also show how to create colors, shadows, and outlines all within the same layer and inside a single object. And finally, the outline drawing process is complete. Even at this stage, the vector already looks really nice. You can actually use it as a line art style illustration like this, and it's also something you could sell on stock websites and earn income from. Now, I lock the layer where we drew the outlines, create a new layer underneath it, and start adding the colors on this new layer. I choose the colors based on my own taste. If you like these color tones, you can pause the video and pick them directly from the screen, or you can leave a comment and ask for them. I'll be happy to share the exact colors I used for this vector with you. During the coloring process, I work section by section, just like we did when drawing the outlines. The difference is that this time, instead of drawing the contour, I'm defining and filling the inner color areas. When coloring with the pencil tool, I roughly draw the area that I want to fill with color. After assigning the color, if there are any gaps or uneven edges, I use the curvature tool to adjust them. This helps me clean up the shapes so there are no white spaces left, and so the color doesn't go outside the outline. Using the curvature tool like this gives me much better control and a cleaner result. When using the pencil tool to fill inner color areas, I draw the shape and bring the line back close to where I started. As I reach the starting point, you'll notice a small circle appear next to the cursor. That's how I know I've closed the shape properly. At that moment, I release the left mouse button and the shape is completed. After that, I assign the appropriate color and then check to make sure the color hasn't gone outside the outline. I also make sure there are no gaps left. This step is actually quite simple once you get used to it. After defining all the inner colors, we'll move on to adding shadows and, if needed, light details on top of them. In this case, I'll only be adding shadow details. To do that, I repeat the same steps we used before. To keep the video from feeling boring or repetitive, I've sped up the longer sections and the parts where the same actions are repeated. If there's anything that feels unclear at any point, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments. Because this process is long and sometimes a bit tiring, it's possible that I may have missed a small detail during editing. What you're watching in a few minutes often takes several hours behind the scenes, and sometimes it can take an entire day. Still, I do my best to work carefully and add as much detail as possible, so this can be truly helpful for you. I actually spend as much time on editing as I do on drawing. I zoom in on important details, emphasize them again and again, and speed up or cut out parts that are unnecessary or repetitive. At this point, you can sit back and enjoy watching the rest of the video until the end. At the same time, this video might be one of the last videos of this year. That's why I'm trying to make these final videos as high quality and as detailed as possible, so I can improve and take things even further in the new year. By the way, I'd like to wish you all a happy upcoming new year. I truly hope the next year will be successful for all of us, and that each of us will take meaningful steps toward reaching our goals. Earlier, I also prepared and uploaded New Year-related videos, including a snowflake tutorial and a Christmas tree tutorial. I'll add both of those videos to the cards so you can easily check them out. I believe both of them are very detailed and valuable videos, and you can learn a lot from them as well. For this work to continue consistently, supporting me on Patreon is extremely important. You can visit my Patreon page through the links in the description and support me with a plan that fits your budget. In return, I'll continue uploading exclusive content for Patreon supporters, including premium icon sets, vector files, and illustrations, alongside the regular videos on this channel. I'm now adding the final shadow details to the face. If you prefer, this step can also be done on a separate layer. However, since in Illustrator every line and object sits on top of another, I usually add these shadows directly on top of the base colors. In the end, we'll group everything together into a single layer anyway. I do it this way to make things easier for anyone who wants to use this file after downloading it from my Patreon shop or from stock websites. From my experience, when files are not properly grouped, people often run into difficulties when they try to use them in their own projects. That's why I make sure every detail is well organized and grouped before finishing the file. If you're also selling your work on stock platforms, I'd love to hear from you. Which stock websites are you active on? And which ones do you find easier or more profitable for uploading content and making sales? Share your thoughts in the comments so everyone can benefit. And if you're interested, I can also prepare future videos focused specifically on stock sites and selling vector work. Just like we did earlier when duplicating the eyebrow outline, we'll now apply the same method to the eyebrow's inner colors. First, I redraw the inner shape over the outline using the pencil tool, bringing the line back to the starting point and assigning the base color. Then I use the pencil tool again to draw the shadow on top of it. After that, I group both the base color and the shadow together. Once everything is grouped, I select it. Go to the top menu and choose Object, then Transform, then Reflect. I select the mirror option for the eyebrow, and when I click the copy button, Illustrator creates a perfectly mirrored second eyebrow with its colors and shadows intact. After that, I simply drag it into the correct position using the mouse. Doing this kind of drawing with a graphic tablet is actually very enjoyable and feels much more natural. Especially in Photoshop, you can get really beautiful results. I personally do a lot of my drawing work in Photoshop. If that's something you're interested in, I can also prepare a detailed overview video about drawing in Photoshop. Compared to Illustrator, drawing in Photoshop allows me to create more organic and lively characters. There's a huge variety of brushes available, and the drawing process feels much more flexible. You can achieve similar results in Illustrator as well, but it requires a lot of practice, getting your hand used to the tools, and having a very good graphic tablet. Next year, I'm also planning to create overview videos about graphic tablets and talk about functional models that could be useful for you. For now, I'm tagging the ones I personally use in this video. In general, I try to tag the tools and gadgets I use in my videos and that I'm genuinely satisfied with. I hope you'll find them helpful. In this video, the pencil tool drawings for the beard and the hat take a bit more time. And since these steps are repeated many times, I've sped them up. One of the most important aspects of a good vector is color. Because of that, I strongly recommend spending time improving your color skills. Anyone who can choose and combine colors well will make their work look much higher in quality. No matter how well a vector is drawn, if the colors are chosen poorly, people won't value that work. That's why paying close attention to color selection is extremely important. For the beard and the hat, I'm using slightly different tones instead of pure white. I do this so designers who buy and use this vector won't have problems placing it on different backgrounds. Since this is a video-based project, there may still be some imperfections in the colors I chose, but normally I'm very careful with color selection and often use external resources to help. There are platforms like Color Hunt that are very useful for choosing color palettes and finding colors that work well together. I definitely recommend using tools like that. Before starting a vector, try to roughly decide on your color palette first, then research and refine the best tones online. When you do that, you'll notice that your work starts to look much more polished, consistent, and visually appealing. We've talked about drawing the outline strokes, then adding colors and shadows underneath, and we've discussed how important color choice really is. If you also take the time to create a good sketch before starting, then you're almost fully prepared to draw a high-quality vector. Having a sketch is important because when you start drawing a vector or illustration, you already know where each detail will be placed and roughly how the final result should look. This helps you work in a much more controlled and professional way. When you start without a sketch, sometimes you don't notice that something feels off or unbalanced until the very end. You might finish the artwork, step away, away. Come back later and suddenly realize it didn't turn out the way you imagined. That's why a prepared sketch is extremely important. You could say the first step of this process is the sketch, and the final step is choosing the right colors. If you do these 2 steps well, all the steps in between can be improved over time as your hand gets more used to the tools. And now we're slowly reaching the end of the video. I hope this tutorial is truly useful for you, both in terms of the topic and the technique shown, and that it's able to change something in the way you work or think about drawing vectors. Thank you to everyone who watched the video until the end. To support and motivate me, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. It's also very important for me that you share your thoughts about the video in the comments. With your feedback, we can continue to improve this channel together. If you want to draw a Santa vector like this, watch the video carefully, replay parts when needed, pause it, and repeat the steps along with me. Don't worry about how it will turn out at first. Just keep repeating. Repetition is what really helps develop your skills in this direction. And when you create your own vector, feel free to send it to me. I'll be happy to take a look and share my thoughts and suggestions with you. If there's any detail that feels unclear or raises questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comments. I genuinely enjoy reading and replying to your messages. See you in the next videos.